Hi, I am Dr. Brenda Power, and Doctor represents Metaphysics. What's the nature of being? So, what are you being today? And this show is Medicine Woman's Solution. Solution is SOULTION. Your soul has a solution for your life. Some of you are, if you are in personal growth or if you're in personal um, well-being, if you mentally or emotionally just want to feel better, especially when you're alone, you're not doing your daily task with people and going to places and doing things, but there is these part of you that your inner world needs to have peace. And sometimes you don't have it. You have to be on go 24/7 and or you have to see and be and well, this is personal growth. What do you want to be? And sometimes we have to heal out, and that is the charges, emotional charges that cause us to have values and belief systems that limit ourselves to the point where we're living for somebody else instead of for ourselves. So, healing is truly important. And the healing that is important is what did you know that your emotions is going to set off the way you think? So you need to become in charge of your emotions. A lot of people don't really believe and understand what that means. Well, I've been doing this for God, what, over 30 years. um, and my life has improved dramatically. I'm happier and I'm healthier and I'm stronger mentally, emotionally, and definitely spiritually. Physically, I'm working on it every day because it is the main thing that creates that reality is that physicalness. Hi, Autumn, how are you? So you have an opportunity to change your life. You have an opportunity. So I give away free readings, and the readings aren't, you know, I'm emotionally upset, and can you tell me why they did this? And maybe I can tell you why they did this, but I will not read other people. But I will tell you what is your inner world reflecting. What is the belief systems, the values, the stuff that you can't see that sets you on the path of where you're living and what you're being. You can take care of those emotional chemical peptides that make you think a certain way. And because when you feel something, you think something, and when you think something, you feel something, and you have this cycle that goes on and on and on and on. And then the question is, can you disrupt that? Yes. Can you change your reality? Yes. Can you do it with grace and ease? And people can go out and they can connect, they can communicate, they can exercise, and they can do all these things. That's great. But then when you're alone, what happens with you? Do those old experiences affect how you feel? Do you get to have the downtime because nobody's demanding anything from you? What and how do you be when you are alone? And a lot of times we get caught up in our thoughts, and these thoughts are caught up because we had an emotions to an experience, and those emotions. And when you think and you feel and you feel and you think and you keep thinking, you're firing them in your brain and you create this program. And when I do readings, I help people understand, do you need to have those thoughts? And some people will be like, well, yes, that's how I survive. Have you ever thought of healing so you can get out of that survival mode, that you can have more peace and calm? Well, it's up to you. It's totally up to you how you choose and want to do things. And the world is changing on the collective level. And the first thing that we really need to pay attention to is how we heal ourselves. How do we show up for ourselves? And when you go through the process of growth, you have to understand you need to become in charge of those past experiences that basically control you. So you own it. Okay. You're owning it. You believe in it. It happened. We're not denying that, but it is how it owns you. And it has your pen, not a person, but you have given your power to that experience. And the only way to survive is like, okay, and you can hear your beliefs. Hi, how are you? And your beliefs, the beliefs are the things that you can hear that show up and say, hey, we're pointing to a value. What's important to you? I got to survive this. So that means I'm going to have to um, shut up, or I'm going to have to let them, if I say anything, they're going to blow up, or if I don't behave the way they want, then I can't have the life I want. If I just appease them, and this is a lot to do with parenting. So what I learned as a kid and what I learned from others and accidentally passed on to my children were the simple fact that, okay, just do it and then they'll shut up. And what does that do to you when you grow up? What does it do to you when you sit there and you're just like, okay, you're done being hounded? What are some of the words like feeling badgered, feeling um, pressured, duress? You're feeling all of this where if you don't do what they say, or what are the consequences? And what were those things when you did it exactly the way they want? They would, oh, good girl, good boy. And I didn't realize how nasty those words can be as a program tool until I got older and I was doing my thing. And then somebody that I loved came up to me and they would, criticize, or they would say something, and then you do it uh, differently than what you were doing. And they go, oh, good girl. Well done. Not just well done, as in, well done. I couldn't have thought of that or any other stuff, but it is programs. So when somebody innocently comes up to me and say, well done, it's like, I know that they want me to do it again. And it's like, these are the programs that will haunt me and ruin relationships, because then it's like, oh, they said these words. They said these words. And the more you become aware, not in the sense that you have to survive and fight back and they're the enemy, become aware that it's Pavlova, that's wrong. I'm just thinking of dessert. Pavlov, P-A-V. It's where uh, it's where they took and they said, okay, let's take and train a dog. And it's going to create salivation when it hears a bell without the food, or sees a piece of food, smells it, using the sensory system. And those first 7 years of your life is the imprint years. Oh, thank you. Are the imprint years. And so we have this mirror image, monkey see, monkey do, all the way down to not just action, but how to survive. So you watch your siblings or you watch your parents in a social interaction and you're like, okay, I can do this, right? Learn something. Lectured, yeah, yeah, you knew it was coming, didn't you? As soon as you basically did something, okay, so here's the thing I got to ask you. So if you're around the same set of people, you get and you learn habits, and you learn them. So you learn exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, so you can skip those lectures. But what it does for the soul, and what it does to a human, is that we don't create this independence, which is naturally what we're supposed to do. From the time that we pop out of the womb, we're creating independence. Even by the time that we started to divide the two cells and become an embryo and become an infant, inside the womb, it is breaking away and being independent, to be an independent thinker, a feeler, and a being. And then when you are born, you are relying on the environment, but at the same time, you have stages of where you break free to do things the way you want to create life, the way you want to feel love, and the way that you want to move forward. And as you do, those were ways of surviving. Now, you don't realize it, but you grow into this. Yeah, you grow into this part that says there's a lot of hidden rules. So as soon as you start to do, you look at this person, oh, I know how to behave, I know how to act, I know what not to say, I know what to do. And then you use and apply that to another person. And then if they're used to being, you throwing their weight around and being in charge, they're going to tell you you're doing it wrong, even on the simplest things. So now you got two worlds on a social level coming together that's different. And the hidden rules is that all of a sudden, you go to talk and you go to do things and you don't know how to do something or whatever, then that nasty phrase, you should know that. Now, as you begin to know this, oh, somebody is having a physical issue. So like she wouldn't know what to do when your physical body physically sits there and starts doing something. It can be very scary. So this person said, really appreciate your help. Severe vertigo, dizziness, can't shower or go to the toilet. Why is this happening? Terrified. Well, let's see. Amy, what was the name of that? The thing where you lay down and you turn your head and you put the crystal back in your ear and then you have to do it the other way. I can't, it's a funny name. If you could look that up for me, that would be great. Epley Maneuver or something like that. Epley Maneuver. We'll get the spelling for you and we'll have it written so you can use it. But in the meantime, is there anything I can do to help you understand why the crystal went out? Is this often or is it just once? Now, it's going to mess with your head and all of this. As I'm looking, I'm seeing that there's, you don't have, okay, so it's to do with, it is, but the ear crystal, I'm asking why did it go out? Because I'm looking at the left one. For some reason, I don't see the crystal inside where it belongs. And what I'm looking at is that, did you have a job or you're doing a job or you're going to have an interview? Something's coming where you're going to be doing something and you don't quite believe in yourself. And the body is showing the exact same that you felt when you were about 6, when you felt very deficient about something. Okay. It says something about feeling deficient. I haven't had it for a while, but I get it from the left ear and do get it in the left ear is bad. Okay. So what we have to do is the energy, we're made of energy, electromagnetic energy. And with that energy, when we emotionally or mentally begin to think a certain way, then the energies move stuff. So I'm looking at how this left ear, and it keeps going into, I have to do something. And I said, is this, you feel deficient? And they go, no, I was brainwashed. Okay, so it's kind of like when you were little, kind of like what we're talking about. You lost a partner recently and homeless for 4 days. That can throw you off because you don't have this ability to survive. Okay, let's get you back in place. So first of all, I will tell you, you just feel like you're deficient. I can't do this. So if you're finding that your words are, I can't do this, I can't live alone, I can't live, I don't know how to do this, and you said that you're homeless for 40 days, I can't. Okay, so it does not allow you to connect. So basically, then the body is believing you, and so it spins you out. So you're at a peak point where you can do this. Now, as far as she's really, okay, so they're saying the Epley maneuver. Let me just look it up. Oops, quiet, Brenda. Don't be talking. I open up my video. Okay. Epley, E-P-L-E-Y maneuver. I believe that's what it is. Yes. So E-P-L-E-Y maneuver. Okay. And so you seem to have internet access. So look that up. There's a PDF. I'm sure there are videos. And that's going to help. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to help you do something. Spirit says that what we can do is, because I'm looking at how your electromagnetic aspect is off. So if we could go ahead, I don't know how much you can do because of the fact that it is doing this, but if you can follow along with me to some degree, look at your right foot. Okay, imagine this is your right foot. You're going to go, where would you like them to go? Yeah, because your peace is gone. First you lost somebody, now you're homeless, and the peace is gone. And the peace is gone, you're going to spin out of control. So you're going to find your right, go to the right, and I want you to find your big toe, so the inner part of your leg, and follow that big toe up until you get past your bunion. Get right there. you're going to need to use your hand back and the forward. So it's a palm, back of the hand, palm, back of the hand. Just like a magnet, it has two sides. The back of the magnet has two sides. Okay, if you had a magnet, you'd go like this, a business card magnet, or again like this, 24 times. And then you're going to deeply push in. Now, I feel like if you can push in and deeply rub, no sliding, that does nothing, deeply penetrate it, do that 30 times. If you could just do that and let me know if you're doing it, because then I can show you the next thing. Now, if you can't do that, I don't know how else to, because right now we have to get the energies to reposition so that the meridian that is out of whack right now, that's causing a chain reaction. Okay. All right. So just Cindy, you can always find this video, this reading on YouTube as well for Medicine One Solution. So I don't know. We have to wait because of the time lapse, as well as her participating if she's still here. And if she's still here, then we will continue on. So this is, I wanted to do this. She's trying. So trying is different. That means the brain doesn't know how, but did you at least be able to do the palm, flip the hand, do the back, swipe it across that point right there, which is here's your bunion. And if that doesn't look real enough, then we can use this foot and notice the big toe. Right there's the bunion. Okay. But it's after you change the magnetic, again, we're made of energy. You can do that, change the magnetic field. You deeply penetrate and just deeply rub onto that spot, deeply push it. And if you're actually doing that act, because now there's metal in my mouth, and so you might be doing it, or you're thinking about it, or because stress, sometimes we get very confused. Oh, but I'm having, my physical body is having this interesting reaction to what you're doing. Debated how I was going to talk about you make a difference. And we do make a difference in the world. And how, like, the whole point of doing the show is to make a difference. At the same time, I also have to eat and, you know, so, because making a difference, usually you don't take anything in return. But then there's also energy exchanges too, as far as how long I've been doing it. I have to wait until she types back to find out if she's doing it, because there's different energetic patterns that I'm holding the space that she's done it, and I'm watching how a part of her is doing it. But is she physically doing it? That's up to her to tell me, because there are different variations. Now, I just saw something switch above her head, and there was a part of her that says, I know I have to take action. So you did it. Okay. She goes, I know I got to take action. I know I got to take action. So right there, my body now is telling me that there's a resolution. I feel like you can begin to do something. Now, what they would like me to do is have you do this again, to go back to the right, go back the one you just did. There's like 4 layers that I can see. So we're going to go back to that right, follow the big toe, that same point we're just at. Make sure you are really using the back of your hand. Okay, so this is palm, flip it, back the hand, flip it, palm, flip it. Okay, they really want to enhance that. We need to use the electromagnetic, the north and the south side, so it's a positive and negative. And they really want me to make sure you're doing that on that point, then to deeply penetrate, and 30 times. So 24 and then 30. Ugh. Okay. Okay. While we'll wait for her, I went and when it comes to being programmed, And so in this case, I'm looking at, okay, so here's Cindy. Cindy says, oh my God, I'm spinning. Okay. And if we feel like we can't do something, then are these thoughts and thinking and feeling and thinking and feeling, and then wham, being hit with life. Because according to her, what she said was that she lost her partner and she's homeless. So this is like wham, wham, wham. She has to do it. She's in the throes of doing it. She has no choice. She's like, ah. But I ask, well, what age shows up besides the age that she is now that's going through this? And she says about her 4.5-year-old self. When I was thrown, okay, done 30 times. Okay, I'm looking at a major improvement in the field. I said, where else? And they said, okay, so your prefrontal cortex, there's not enough blood flow. And so 80% of the blood, when we're stressed, leave this area, go into our limbs to fight, flight, freeze, and the blood in our visceral gut begins to pull out of our organs and into the arms and legs again because we're in stress mode. Now, we would like to reverse that so that the body will calm down. And people say, well, you just work on the nerves. You can, but her frontal lobe is having an issue. So, Cindy, take your hand and just place it on your head. I need the blood flow, and our hands are magnetic. And if she can do this, hold it there for, give me at least 2 to 5 minutes. You can switch hands. I don't care. Just hold that there and help the blood come back up. And then you need to tell me if it feels good, bad, or indifferent. If you're doing it and it feels bad, I will go back and look for another point, but breathe it through. And they said that, yeah, that's what they want you to do. Hello, Sherry from Wisconsin. I was from Michigan and I moved here. Okay, so you go do that. I'm sitting right here, Cindy. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, so she's thrown in a position, and the feeling is I feel deficient. She felt that again at 4.5. I feel deficient. Probably go to school or something, and left her own devices. And when children become to the point where you're left to your own devices, it can be kind of hard to know how to trust yourself, how to get into resolving state. Because if you're stressed, again, the blood leaves your forebrain. And it's the same thing when you get lectured, you get badgered, you get duressed, you get pushed, and they don't shut up, and they keep telling you with their worries and their fears or their manipulation, the maneuvers. I was watching this TV show called American Housewife, and I like it, but here's the problem. The problem is I'm watching how maneuvers is to control and manipulate all of her family to do the right thing. It's her right thing. Well, the problem is that when I began to learn how to do the right thing for this one person, and then I went out to the world and did the right thing with the next people I came and played, I did it wrong according to them, and they let me know. And I thought, what the heck? Now, first of all, my body began to attract in. So my inner world of how I know that imprint years and the social years, you fit a bit, feels cold a bit later. Okay, keep going. I'm looking. So I'm seeing that it's not quite 100% energy coming back up. So if you can place your hand on your, where do we want it? It's just take your whole hand and put it over your belly button, and more or less also just like an inch or two down below your belly button. So a whole hand should work. And then if you put the other one on your head, we need to get the blood to say it's okay. We're not in fight or flight. We've got this now. So we have to show up for the body. So let's see if we can finish getting more blood in the head, because it's not quite up to the measurement I did. You're dizzy from it, yeah, because you have to face the 2 slaps that you just got right after each other. Now, you're a strong woman. You're a strong woman. Fear does not have to come in. Yes, the circumstances look bad, but we are built in the frontal lobe we need to get the energy in the frontal lobe because it creates reality. And if we can get the energy to come into our frontal lobe, we'll be able to think our way out of a paper bag. We'll be able to resolve, and we'll be able to get to where, okay, I can find the answers. And you're learning how to take and be independent and take care of yourself, and then bring more people in to help you take care of you. And so that the flow right now, it's like, you're slammed. And now we have to help you get up and dust yourself off. Okay. So breathe it through. I said, you want her to do anything else? I said, just wait, because there's a strong belief. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. It's like you got stuck in I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this again. Okay. And I have to get the blood back up first so that the body can say, I'm here to help save the day. We can do this. So we want to get your body on board with you as the mind. So now I just felt the shift. So keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, what I'm getting is that he was my everything. My peace is gone. He was my shelter. Is this true? Did he really help? Did you guys create a world where it was good, and then all of a sudden that's gone, and you feel like you're left exposed to the the environment? So now this is what's going to happen, is that I want you to focus on my peace is gone. Measure that. My peace is gone. Now, this is going to help you come to terms with my peace. Now, we don't want to train the brain, but because your thoughts are going there, you need to help you to do the next thing, because he's there as a guide to help you do the next thing. Yeah, yes. Okay, very good, very good. She can measure. I feel fragile. You can measure that. That's your truth right now. Take your right hand. Okay, let me get my thing so you can see it better, because sometimes when you're stressed, we can't even focus. So sometimes we need visual cues. Okay, Cindy? Now, again, if you need to keep watching this, you can watch it on YouTube anytime, because it's being recorded there. Right hand. Pick the right hand, okay? You're going to go to that 1, 2, 3. So measure with your fingernails width. Start at the crick under the thumb. 1, 2, 3. You're going to take your third finger, put your thumb there. Now, you're going to push in deep. You're not going to do soft. You're going to push in deep. Stress up high, you can make it push in deep anyway. But now you're going to put your pointer finger. So you're going to make the letter C. Safety, security, stability. A lot of people like to do this. I want you, no, just embrace this, because we need to send energy here. Okay. Now you take this. Now this is important. Once you've got this frontal lobe and this top of the head. So the palm right here. Got to put 1, 2, 3. Put it here on your forehead and let your fingers drop. Now sit there and breathe and just feel the fragile. Don't think it's because of this, and this. No, that's not healing. Just breathe in and out. Keep your hand like this. I want people to see me. Some people can't. They read lips. They can't hear. So I got to keep this open. So don't take your hand down. Leave it in place like this. Give me at least 10 minutes. Focus on feeling. I feel fragile. Don't because it's this, that. No, stop. Say, okay. And then I'm going to sit right here. You come back. I'm here for you. Oh, thanks. I'm here for you. Okay. All right. Now, so we have some people that may have just tuned in. We have somebody that's a beautiful Cindy that has had life attacks. Life just came in and shocked her to bits. And it's even created a physical toll. And we are helping her to balance the energy. She's doing all the work. I'm just giving a little guidance here. Now, sure, her body, we want the body to start to like wiggle and jiggle to release. So if you feel like you got to move when you're doing this, do so. If your thumb hurts, then take it off and just kind of wiggle, and pull, and then get back into it. So I'm going to sit right here for you, Cindy. Okay? I'm holding space that you've got this already. And if you feel his presence, he's putting his hands on your shoulder and says, you got this. There's some type of words he would say, like, you got this, babe. there would be a type of language that he would use that only you understand, but he's repeating it. There's something about repeating it, but you also feel the heat is as if his body was present. Do you understand? Because I can feel his presence. He's not touching you, like when he's live, you can feel the presence of the person. Your body's feeling the presence of his soul. Do you understand? And he says, let's just breathe it through together. It's like he's helping say, follow me, mimic me. Like if you were in Lamaze class or something together. I don't know, but you guys, there's this rhythm and he wants to help you follow the rhythm, okay? Okay, there you go. So just sit with it. Keep your hand there. Breathe and feel. Just breathe and feel. Okay. So we're going to hold space. Those that know how to hold space, you already see her whole. She's got this. She's feeling refreshed. She's feeling, insights and feeling fresh. Yes, he calls me babe. Okay. And yes, he says you're babe. Okay. So you know the language. He's saying, just hear me say it and so that usually means he wants you to focus. So that means go in and breathe and feel. And because you have a tool that's going to help you, your body, it's about getting this blood back up into the forebrain so your frontal lobe can create the reality, not the hell you're in, because that only those emotions create a prison. We want to bust you out of those prisons, okay? Okay. So a part of me, when we want help, and she obviously was, and I feel like Spirit brought you here so that you could talk to me. You will line up to get it. So part of her soul says, I can't do this. I feel like he's there. I feel like her soul was saying, I can't do this. And she and I came in alignment. So let's see if we can make a difference. All right. But when you are lining up with other people and you keep bringing people in that make you feel less than, that make you feel duressed, or in this case, deficient. In her case, is just completely life's just kind of bitch slapped her to next Tuesday. And we're not given tools because we don't know, but this is the era and the time where you have tools and we can pass these tools on to other beautiful people and other beautiful souls so they don't just feel like they have to be left alone with their own devices and flapping around like a fish out of water. We can share and give and help others to get to where we need to go. And when I was growing up and I could see all this duress and badgering, and then I got into relationships and it was the same stuff. And it's like, why is this happening? And this question, became my answer was because you thought it, you felt it, you felt it, you thought it, you created a program. This is what you knew from the imprint years up to age 7, that this is how it is done. So I was attracted to and fell in love with people that reminded me of who the people I grew up with. But it's not who I want to be. So the independence from that still needs to be had. So as this is happening, I'm watching the same pattern, but I don't want this pattern. I want to choose better. What do I got here? I want to choose better. And if I know better, I can do better, right? I want to choose better. I want a healthier alignment. I had to notice my normal was to be emotionally in words abused, mental abuse, but it wasn't abuse to them. It was called parenting. And in the TV series American Housewife, it is to manipulate so that your kids grow up better. But at the same time, it's like, no, we need to keep creating these independence. So there will be the time when you're done playing with Barbies and toys, and then you move up a stage into growing up and creating independence, finding other things that you like, and you move forward. But when you start to live and you're thinking you're doing the right thing, and you then connect with people that their right thing is not the same as what you learned, then it can get very confusing and lost. And if you're used to being badgered and you have this, then Now you have to learn a new set of rules about what's right and wrong with this group. And then when I went to church, and then when I went to different cities or towns, it was different in different cultures. And then as I traveled, it was different to some degree. And you mindfully respect and honor where you're at, but don't lose yourself. And that's what I was doing, was that I was like, wait, what? I was confused because I did not know thyself, and I didn't have the authenticity form of myself, that I lost myself. Yes, Spirit brought her here so she could learn how to find her way. Yes. See, now I'm starting to feel in her stomach. Remember, I told you when we go into fight, flight, freeze. The frontal lobe does this, and so does this visceral nerve of the blood in the body, in the gut area. It's now starting to watch it flow back in, and we need that to keep our body survive what's happening. I'm feeling actually a little bit more warm, so that means that I got circulation. So not a lot, but I got some circulation going on, which is very helpful. I don't feel this. So after a few minutes, if you can measure any time, can you feel a difference? Because this is the most important part. When you start to do any type of healing, especially the type of healing that I do, you can have a parameter of where it started, and you can actually begin to see physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual differences. Okay. So how do I stop the ear crystal dislodging? How long until you feel, I feel it'll be okay? Now, here's the thing. So have you done the Epley yet? The thing is once you stop believing in fear and letting fear in, and because you believe in deficient, I'm deficient, I can't do this. Understand that statement. When you go into fear and, I'm presented that I'm supposed to pay bills, or I'm presented that I have to work, or I'm presented that I have to survive and find an apartment. I presented, okay, it's in that action, in that response, in that means the more that you feel that I got this, self-esteem, confidence, the more the body will just say, I don't need to go there. But this is what they call, but I'm hearing in this case, about 4.5, you felt very scared to go to school or something, and you didn't know how to do it alone. And this representation. So I said, so this 4.5 has a lot to do with how I believe the outside. I can't wild dizzy, but when I am not, I can try to do that. Okay, so part of the this do the maneuver when you can. But what I'm asking right now, and what you're asking, is that first of all, you asked me to help you, and what I need to know is that you felt a certain way by keeping your hand here. And if you're doing what's called hope therapy, success hope therapy, and you're holding like that, do you feel what? Good, bad, or different? Do you feel worse? Do you feel better? Do you feel indifferent? Because if you're like, it was out of the number was so over 10, but now it's more manageable. The importance of doing the type of healing I'm asking you to do is that you need to show up as the awareness to be able to, okay, you have to start to become home. You need to be able to measure. So she feels lighter. So is your mind still feeling like it wants to go crazy? It's not just dizziness, everything else. But just because, so understand you're feeling lighter. That's an improvement. Thank you, Spirit. And I said, on this, if we're looking, you need to keep holding. So go back to keep holding, feeling and breathing, feeling and breathing. Because again, energies caused to go out. We need to get the wedge, which is this, life experiences. It's just kind of slapped you. I said, do we need to take care of the shock? No, it's just that believing you cannot do it. No, just unsteady still. So you're better. Okay, so measure that you just did the healing. You just did it. You came to me. You listened, you followed along, you starting to realize that the body is an amazing tool. And then, okay, good. So just keep holding, and notice that the peace, how did you know that peace was gone? Because that's what we're measuring, is the peace was gone. Again, the chaos has already happened, but that doesn't mean that you can't be in peace while you maneuver. So it's like you being in the middle of a storm in a dinghy. By healing, you moved up to a bigger boat. And so it may not be so bad in the storm, but you're going to learn how to be at peace in the boat while the storm's happening. You've got this. You've got this. Okay. You got this. When someone lies to keep themselves safe, that is a coping tool, also a tactic. I would say yes, because it's an overcoming. If you don't use tools like this, EFT, if you don't use tools, energetic tools, okay, and you're using only the type of thinking and overcoming thinking to take care of the emotional chemical peptides, then you're still in fight, flight, freeze, but you're trying to convince yourself that they're safe. Now, as you hold this, like she's doing, she's healing, the body, the frontal lobe, is going to believe you more when you say, okay, I am safe. Even if this doesn't look well. But because the blood comes back up into the forebrain, you're able to think your way out of the paper bag. The body, the blood's starting to flow properly into the body the way it's supposed to, and you start to feel safe. You will then start to activate this part of yourself that will go, wait a minute, I can resolve to evolve. I can make better decisions. I never thought of this before. I'm going to go do this. And it ends up being in your favor. Okay. You are there for yourself. But if you don't have these tools and you don't work with the energy field, then it becomes a tactic. You're lying to yourself, and it becomes this program that says, and I think you just hit on something here. So it's lying to yourself, but it is a tactic. It is a maneuver. It is to strategize to get yourself to think something different. Okay. And all of a sudden, let's say it works. But the program, the GPS that's in the unconscious level, and the unconscious, it only gets programmed by you, of the thinking and the belief and what's important to you with your value systems. And so even though you're like, I'm here, I'm squashing it, repressing it down, okay, you still don't really know how to cope, handle, and deal with the situation. So there's a part of you that constantly stays stressed. And so this unconscious program sits there, and the soul says, can you heal it now? But if you don't, then everything changes, including the DNA, and your DNA changes, and that you don't want that to happen. You don't want to change that DNA. You want it to stay healthy. You want it to keep you going. We do. Okay. So when you're using self-imposed limitations, it would be a tactic, it'd be a strategy. It's the way we overcome. And I learned a long time ago, you don't want to just overcome. Hi. The Spicer's in the house. Thank you. I am not so foggy. Cindy, you are healing yourself. Okay, you're not as foggy. Now let me measure. Now that is under control. I'm looking, the blood feels like it's more back into the brain. The body is doing this. Now, if we just breathe in and out and say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, you're looking for how to take care of this moment. So you're looking around, you're homeless. Okay, the one thing about the body is that when you get hungry, you will go out and seek. Okay, and if you don't have enough energy in your brain, then you may just go to dumpsters. But you also then, if you could look around, you're like, oh, how do other people do it? So then your frontal lobe will go, okay, we're going to choose better. We're going to do this. And you will then find out there's shelters, and you're going to find out that, hey, I have an aunt that I can call and, that can help. I had a strong belief that my family didn't want me present when I was going through my stuff. And then after I went through my stuff, they're like, well, you could have came to me. And I'm like, no, I never got that impression. I don't know that. And so we lose the communication process. We don't really develop the communication process. And that becomes the issue. So thank you, Spirit, for taking care of Cindy and helping her to get back onto her feet and get back into the space you need to be in. Okay. Now, when you can, you may have to also look for, do the Epley maneuvers. But I'm going to give you one more point that's going to help. Okay. And there's a part of you that feels like you constantly have to overcompensate when you feel deficient, or you feel like you've done something and somebody's thinking this and this and that. And then the body throws itself into, oh my God, I did it wrong. I got to overcompensate. This is also causing this. It's connected to deficient, but it's also what's causing the energy in the ears to do what I'm seeing. Okay. And so that means that the inside relationships, these relationships, it's the scalar field that when you were to look up, and if you did it wrong, or you're looking at it, it's the scalar field. And this here, this in this between shared space, it's supposed to be the Venn difference of sameness, but it's not true. It is in a medicine room solution. What we learned is that when you go into somebody's field, you have to show up the way they expect, and vice versa. And in this case, there's a part that says I'm supposed to overcompensate. I'm supposed to say sorry. I'm supposed to, correct myself and make myself in a worse position. And yeah. And so what I want you to do is if you can really measure that I overcompensate, because there's a constant thinking that I did it wrong. It's just because overcompensating is that you look at somebody, you do something, and they're the way their gestures or their tone of their voice, and you're like, oh, let me fix this, let me correct this. That's not what I meant. That's what I would like you to measure. And if you can understand what I'm saying, then you can switch over to right wrist, but this time it's first position. Okay. Push your thumb in nice and deep. So it's R1D. So push in nice and deep, same positioning, but it's in the measuring and the feeling that, oh God, I did it wrong. I got to overcompensate. I have to give more. I have to prove to people. Yes, you do. Okay. So measure it. Remember, it's the feel. And you'll hear the words. And now what's important is that once we get you to say, okay, it's 10 plus, this is what I do. This is my normal. This is what I do. But it is what's also causing the dizziness and things like this. They're all connected in this because it's connected to the deficiency. You start to get that under control, get it down to zero. You are going to help yourself incredibly, because you will then won't have to be keep doing what's normal, which is to abuse yourself, hurt yourself, put yourself last. In this case, we need to get you to say thank you, Spirit. But before we can get you to start pulling in the ways to help you evolve into a better life, we have got to look at these programs. Okay, so remember, get into the field. I love how these tools help people heal such deep traumas and dramas. Yes, and it can become permanent, but before you can actually get permanent, you got to stop. You got to stop the surface or the in the peak of what you're doing and heal that, change that. Then you have to start to heal the habit. And once you start to heal the normal, what feels normal? How do you feel? I feel great. But my body might be saying, no, I'm scared crapless and my adrenals won't shut off or something. or asthma, because it's stuck in a particular time period. Now, that's my normal, is to feel like crap and not even know it. My crap feels good. But I have to go beyond that because it's not true. And you heal the habit of how you memorized it, habit, and you keep doing these. Once you start to heal the normalcy, then you'll start to wake up and go, no. And then you'll see that you're about ready to do it again and you're going to catch it. Usually it's way after the fact in the beginning, and then you'll start to notice right when you're doing it, and then you're like, oh, no, I'm not doing this again. And you keep healing to the point you're healing backwards, and then you heal that point, you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I took medication, didn't help because it's energetic. It can and cannot. Here's the thing. Everything is always energetic. Even the pain in the body has to do with a lot to do with, it's in the head. It is in the mental, it's in the program, it's in the all of those things I just suggest. So your cells, there's 50 trillion cells, so your community, and that cell has a receptor on it. And if some cells, see, so here comes the key, the code, I need it into here. So, but you can't see it. Well, goodness gracious. Okay. Well, anyways, I need to paint this a different color. The cell, the medication will go in, and this cell says, yes, I will take that medication because I have a receptor for it. And then it goes in, turns like a key, and then the information goes inside and then tells the cell to behave this way. So same thing with emotional chemical peptides. If we hold this and do that procedure, then the chemical peptide, the key comes out, and then the cell that was behaving changes its behavior because now it can be programmed with love or safety or security. Medication, I believed, and again, it's about how you change your beliefs. I believed I could never get rid of a headache. So you have to take an aspirin, or you have to take a Tylenol, or whatever you call it. And my husband had a really bad headache. And I said, hey, I'm learning, I just well, the information has always been on the planet. I just flipped it on its ear and used it a different way. Can I do this? He said, yes. So I began to use SP source points. And as I began to use them the way I do, all of a sudden he was like, I said, measure it. He goes, it's gone. Wait, what? Okay. And then one time he took an aspirin, he took, he couldn't take, I wasn't there, and he took something to take care of his pain. And then I walked in like that second, and then I walked over and I started rubbing again. And he says, oh my God, I think you're doing it because I just took the pill. It doesn't work that fast. It takes about 20 or 40 minutes. So you can change a lot here by moving the energy. She says, because before this, I was having a bad panic attacks and I had blood test all normal. That's actually a good sign that the blood is normal, because that means oh, that's real good. But yes, everything like panic attacks has to do with emotions and thoughts. It's about how we cope, handle, and deal with the experience. And because we don't know what to do with it, it will then pop up like, pop goes the weasel. But you sensed with the ear issue, so because of being unbalanced, and has manifested. Again, it's connected to my thoughts and my beliefs that I'm deficient, I can't do this, which is your peace was gone. The way, the death, now you have to be alone. And it was one shock after another shock after another shock that you're like, I can't do this. I don't know how to, oh my God, not again. And because the peace was gone, the cell says, I'm peaceful. And then we took that out. Life experience, let's put in shock, fear, 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 fear. So the cells were like, ah! And then one after another, there was no break. By bringing the blood back up and putting it back in the body, the cell says, oh, and now we can have more peace, more peace. And the thing is that if we aim to have more peace, and we train the body that when you have life effing issues coming slap into you next Tuesdays, you can go, wait a minute, just even if you can't find a point, just bringing the blood back up, just entertaining, keeping the hand here, bringing that blood back up. And if you can put your hand on your belly and your forehead at the same time, just breathe, you are going to make a major difference in how you handle stress. But you sensed with the ear issue, so because of unbound, yes, it was a lot. Yes, yes. And now, what I do know, Steve, I have what you can go to YouTube and look under, it says Tribal Basics. This is what I teach, how to help you hold the energy, what you can do for yourself, no matter what's going on. So what happened is that your spirit is beside you. It's not really inside, it's beside you. So I want you to put your hand, I don't care which hand you use, right or left, and you'll put your hand here, and you're going to roll it back to here, and then you're going to lift off. And then I'm going to tell you a phrase to say. Hold on, I got to fix my little puzzle piece here. Doink. Okay. Don't know if I needed a sound effect, but you say, I put my spirit back into my body 100% where it belongs. Lift off, place it again. I put my spirit back into my body 100% where it belongs. Lift off. And just kind of say, I put my spirit back into, and if you feel like you got to say your heart or your organs or anything, this systems, I put my nerves, I put my spirit back into my body 100% belongs. Life is going to cause you to fight, flight, fright, and fear. So it's either love or fear. Fear can be anger. It can be frustration. It can be life experiences wipe you. The point is the nervous system, I have to survive. So it'll go in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, fornicate, flop, whatever it needs to do. Because this instant was like, now do it at least 10 times. So if you haven't done it 10 times, do it again. Hi, Teresa. Okay, so again, make sure that's in there. Now, as I'm looking, I'm not as trembly. So that means it's like we're gone away, no lights are on. So now that we start saying, okay, spirit, you can entertain this body, you can be present, it's like I'm turning the lights on, I'm home. So spirit helps put the light into that particular cell. Yeah, do it a couple more times because we're almost there. Thank you for the shares. I totally appreciate it. Let's see. My dizziness has a lot to do, the dizziness has a lot to do with me not wanting to be in the fields of what needs to heal. Yes, that's what, okay, so she's going through certain things too. Yes, it's your go-to. Your brain will go, this is how I cope, handle, deal. So the habit of when you know that you have to be independent, you have to do this, you have to be like she's going to have surgery. You're going to have to do it alone, or there's nobody there. You'll get panicked, and the body the blood will not be in the forebrain. Like I've seen somebody, and what they do is every day they listen to the news, and that throws them on the tailspin, and then they're walking around, not really being themselves. And all of this chaos happens here, that it creates chaos in relationships because fear just takes over. Oh, you paid for a chat and you'll watch later. Okay. Love you, Miss April Lynn. Thank you. Anything on the lower back? Are you still here? Are you still here? Is it Ishika? Anything on my lower back pain by when you see it settling? Okay, so first of all, if you're here, let me know you're here. I'm just going to call you Ish. And if Ish is here, then I will give a free reading to you as well. Yes. Okay. So if you measure your back pain for me, 10 being, oh my God, because I just need, once we start to move the energy, then I'll be able to give you a better reading. If it's more of a physical thing, like do you need to go to a chiropractor or any of this other stuff? But I'm looking at a lot of congestion. So if you can kind of tell me like, oh, and then just follow along with what I've got, because Spirit is saying your magnetic energy is sort of made of energy, and you are in a flight mode. So the body wants to run, but it can't. So it's like when you have stress, if somebody were to be in my space and they're being stressed or they're attacking me, my body will then make me move. I'll have to clean the house, I'll have to run, I'll have to do something, my body. But if I can't, then my body the energy gets jumbled up. I've been in a situation where I'm being yelled and screamed at and my body wants to run, but it can't. And then my body begins to hurt. And usually, metaphysically, there is an answer. And I'm looking at the lower back, but I'm looking at like lumbar 4. And if I look at your lumbar 4, it has to do with I feel so irrelevant in conversations. But I also feel like there's an introvert factor. Don't choose me, don't look at me. And so there's some insecurity, but I'm looking at the lower back. And one of the things I see is that something startled you. Again, I'm not seeing that you said what number the pain or anything was. Because once you start to go, okay, I'm going to look and I'm going to measure, then you can become more in charge. And then I can give you points to help start moving the energy. And then I can give you more points to start taking care of the emotional component that's causing the electromagnetic energy to start being off balance. So again, I have to wait. I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but I'm going to make sure. So I'm going to go over here to my other screen to see if I can see it. Okay, I am seeing it there. Ah, my God, this pain started recently, just before I was fired from my recent job. Okay, so does that loss of the job, is that causing a lot of pain right now? Now, they said you feel deficient because you don't have the job. It's not that you lost the job, but you were startled by losing the job. And because of that, in the startling. So I want you to focus on how I lost my job and how startled you are. Like, okay, if you were to measure that. Now, when you do that, because the vibration inside of you is correlating with the whole thing. There you go. And what I want you now, oh, you got a picture. How many? Just the one where you were shocked. Do you want them to do sensory? No. Do you want them to use SP? Yes. But hold that in mind. So if you can picture how I lost my job, I'm shocked, right? Shocked. Then what they want you to do is they want you to, which side? They want you to go to your right. So look for your right foot. You're going to follow the inside toe, big toe. And you're going to go from the big toe up to this bunion right here. So it's just past that bone right there. Still a little bit up. And then you're going to take the hand, palm, flip it to the back of the hand, palm, back of the hand. You do that 24 times because your hand is acting as the magnet. And you're like, well, I have a business card magnet right here. Good, represents two sides. You can go back, you can see, and you can do, but you have to use both sides. Once that becomes unfrozen, you're going to deeply push in and rub 30 times. Okay? Rub 30 times. And then let me know when you've done that. And then I can give you the next point. Cindy says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Physically, just quickly, my ears see congested to stop this. Oh, no, wait. Tell her to put her finger in the congested to stop the spin, the control panel in the Riley's head. Hopefully Cindy saw that. So what she's referring to, Amy's referring to, is tell her about putting her finger in the cog to stop the spin. So people have been in spins before. So if you've watched the movie Inside Out, there's 1 and 2 about emotions, okay? And the emotions control the way Riley felt. Well, you can go in and you have what's called a control panel of yourself. So you can go in and you can say, okay, I'm going to turn down the spin off. Okay. Or if you can imagine that the spin is there and you're like, okay, if I put my finger, like if you see it, you can put your finger to push down on it to stop the spin, or you can be like put a screwdriver in or whatever and stops it completely. Okay. But the emotion was causing the spin is now not so bad. So that's what she's referring to, is that the show, the movie, and I teach people how to use the control panel and how to change and be in charge of this. So let's see. Yeah, so that causes vertigo, fear to flight. Yes, because before this, I was having a bad panic attack. Yep, okay, got that. I totally missed that. And what happened here? Now we're giving her support. She said this. Why does it keep jumping? It keeps jumping. Good Lord, why does it keep doing that? All right. Thank you so much. Are you able to work energetically later? I do private sessions with people all the time. Okay, physically, just quickly, my ears seem out of balance. Doctor says Meniere's disease. Okay, so that means you don't want to constantly hear something. Do you understand? You don't want to constantly hear something. The environment is telling you something you don't want to hear. That means that there's inner work that needs to be done, that how you react to the things that happen, you need to go, I got to stop reacting that way. I got to stop showing up that way. That's the habit. So we have to begin to measure that, heal that, change that, mentally change the emotions and the thoughts so that you do not have to give the same response. Okay, and I do private sessions. You can just go to my website, Medicine Women's Solution. That's SOULTION. And you can see the cost. So Ish, did you take and use your hand back on in the palm of the back onto the right spot, right here, and then push in deeply? If you've done that, then let me ask you about the pain, because I'm looking. So if you pictured that, how shocked you were, again, measuring, there's the picture. And it's like, I can't believe my ears. So in this case, also Cindy, but I can't believe my ears. But it was hit you hard from what I can see. Okay. Okay. I have to wait until Ish. I don't know if Ish is still here or if Ish has done it, or so I will have to wait until the response. This is, if you can't afford something, this is why I watch my old videos. You may get something out of it. Train your brain to not always see the worst and this and this and that. If you can, like all the videos I have on YouTube, which you can rewatch this session, train your brain, make your environment support you. So I've had several people that just watch my videos instead of watching stress and fear. It's very supportive. It gives them insight, gives them strength, and then eventually they can get money to have certain sessions. Like I just gave you a nice free one here. Hopefully this, from what I can see, it has made an impact, because this is about caring about people, and the first session is free. Okay, Isha, you must, I can't tell. Doesn't tell me who's here or not here, so I don't know. Because we were working on back pain. Okay. I need to turn down my heater just a little bit. Okay. How can you support this movement? What I do makes a difference in the world. What you can do can make a difference even. So each week I show up same time each week, and you can show up every time. You can support, you can share, you can talk about it. A lot of people do not know that there's healing tools, do not know that they can take care of their mental and emotional stuff. Yeah, you can listen to old shows while you're driving. So I'm assuming Ish must be gone. Okay, I'm going to move on. Now, if you're new here and you've never had a reading before, then do so. Just ask me. So again, how do we get out to the public? This is a movement, and the more people that actually begin to believe this stuff works, then they're going to be able to hold a pattern. So we're doing our best to create a new world. We're doing our best to create a new world to help people understand that, one, I can heal myself. Because the myth that was on the planet that I started to change, and it's a belief, it was important to me to be healthy, but I couldn't go out and I couldn't afford and I couldn't do this. But then I said, okay, it's important to be healthy. And then Spirit says, oh, well, I'm going to have you meet this person. I'm going to have you bump into this person. I'm going to have you listen to this. I'm going to have you be interested in this. And I did, and again and again and again. And now I am where I am today. I shared to my niece and her kids and to a bunch of people. Thank you so much. See, so there is the support. So we're building a network, not about me making money. The more money I do make, the more I can give back to the community, the more I can, do what I need to do, because there's so many things I want to do. But at the same time, this has to be a movement, not just on my part to see if I go viral or anything. It's not this. We want it to be a steady. Like if you look at people that started out, a lot of people have quit. Here I am doing this. Let's see. I started doing radio or online radio. I started to do all these things. Oh my God. It's been over 30 years, but as far as when I actually did things for the public, what is it? The 90s? No, 2000s. In the 2000s is when I start. So I'm still here doing it strong. We are going through a lot of things on the planet right now. But those that keep sticking around, those that keep sticking with it are seeing improvements. They're seeing, so this is why I have Tribe. Tribal is done once a week, and it is 25 years. Could be. Can't remember when I first did my show. Oh, yes, I do. I think it was in 2004 or 2005. 2004 is when I took it to the public. Thank you. Yes, in 2004 is when I took it to the public. So it was about 21 years. And I remember it was right around my birthday when I launched it. And that's when I started to then start creating networks and finding people. And then I was honing my skills for, the first 7 years, still honing them, still a student, still a teacher, still a spiritual investigator. But you continue because you know that you're going to make a world of difference. And I know that I have helped one person at a time, and to me, this was major. This was major. This was great. And then that person and several people that have moved on to this have helped other people. And then they get to have that same good feeling when all of a sudden you realize you made a difference. It's not you're doing it. There's a big difference of understanding this. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not taking all the credit. You understand? I know that I'm holding this belief system and I'm teaching you how to do it. And yes, you may have to have me help you, but I need you to wake up and stop believing that myth. I can't heal myself. I have to go and get a pill. I have to go out and do this. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting medication. There's nothing wrong with getting physical therapy or any other stuff. There's nothing wrong. It is the action part. I have people. I have this one. Thank God it's only really one. But when you begin to see people show up to you and they pay and they're getting that energy exchange, but then they will not take notes. And then they want you to do the work for them. And then they're like, so, and then in a session, I will give you the recorded sessions so that you can watch it again so you can write it down. Oh my gosh, Cindy was able to go to the toilet. Yes, thanks, Heat. Okay, I'm still holding space. You can do this. Again, if you need to go through this process, do go to YouTube, Medicine Woman Solution, and rewatch it. Subscribe while you're there. And but yes, see, she just broke the myth. Now she's got a witness. I did this. I sat down and I chose to think. I chose to hold. I chose to rub. I chose to pay attention to what she was saying. And you can start to heal. So it is, you do the work. I will show up, but if I have to do all the work, so this other person says, well, I didn't watch it. I, no, I'll just do another session. Okay, fine. But if it doesn't work, you're going to tell everybody it didn't work. Well, you have to do your part. You have to do it, especially when I'm telling you. She says, I'm unsteady, but I did it. Good. Now, if you can look at the Epley Maneuver, understand that you have the power to do this. So if I'm sick or something, haven't really been physically sick, like I broke my fingers, I got a pinched nerve, all of this. It seems to happen on my birthday, which is coming up. And it's related to my brother getting in an accident on my birthday and then dying the next day. And so my body still holds this, how dare I have fun when everybody's crying, and because they just lost a brother. And even though I don't have those same people in my world, as soon as I start to have a little fun, then it's shut it down. There's other stuff going on. And my body still holds this to some degree. So it's in 3 days' time, in 2 days' time, I will be turning 58. And it's I want to celebrate. I want to have fun, but my body, and I'm learning. So this is where the awareness comes in. Okay, I'll do it. See, it's not try. She knows. See, feel the difference of how your spirit is going. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm taking action. I'm doing it. Okay. And we are going to go out. My husband's going to hold my hand, and we're going to go out and have fun. But I'm not. And it's there's parts of me, my cells have certain memories, and I don't know exactly, except for I think it's connected to when I have too much joy. I don't know. But I will break this habit. I know I will, because I have the determination. I know I will, because I've overcome so many other things, because I've already seen it. I've already understood it. And that's very important, because the myth of it does not need to be true. The myth that you can't heal yourself, because it's a lie. I mean, people say, well, yeah, you can heal yourself. You can go and exercise, you can eat right, you can do this. The guy says, yeah, but you don't understand. And this is why Cindy was very beautiful today, because she knew that there was an energetic thing. She knew there was something that's going on. Okay. It doesn't always have to be physical, because it will start in the spiritual, mental, and emotional. And when it starts to be very physical, it usually means that you have had a very hands-on, because you see my hands going together. It's really real. Okay. But it is in how you're connected to that, how you see that, how you resolve to evolve. How do you solve it? How do you do these things? And but the myth, that one big belief is that I can't heal myself. I had curvature, scoliosis, and my boobs keep getting heavier and heavier. And yes, I went up, I swear to God, another cup size. I can't even fit into some of my shirts now. And it's oh, what a bad problem. Oh, it is when you're what's going on? Why is this happening? So I with research and this and that, I've gone to lots and lots of chiropractors, and they said, okay, you can't do nothing with the curve. And then I said, no, I don't believe that. Thank you, Spirit, lining me up. And I kept seeing this at Southern Cross Chiropractor, Southern Cross. And so I said, I'm going to go there. Because one of the things he does, he looks at your x-ray first, and then he goes from there. But when he showed me, and he says, oh, in this curve, he says, we're going to, do some correction, but you got to do your part. The more time and effort you put into this, the more your better results are. And I'm okay. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm limited. I can't think any higher than this. And he says, well, this is what's called the Deneral. It was a piece of just a foam, a nice hard foam. And it is meant to go underneath my shoulders. And then I lay on it, which makes my head tip back like this. So, and you do that up to 20 minutes a day. And then you do these exercises that you got to do, which is the mover and then nerve flossing. And I'll be darned, I'm no longer considered scoliosis. I'm standing taller instead of me leaning like this. I'm standing taller. It doesn't mean my breasts stick out more, but it's like, and one of the things I had asked, he says, well, he says, because you're more heavier set here, it's going to put more weight onto here. He says, you have to learn to, lift them up, but you also have to know that when you're putting your head down to read, or whether it's a book or it's a phone or whatever, you have to learn to tell the body, to straighten up. I was like, and then even when I had gotten, it was for my birthday and I fell over. I was going down the steps. It was dark and I have a hard time seeing. And they have no railing, so I have to pretend there's a railing. And as I'm going down the steps, and they're not just steps, these are big, beautiful slabs of rock that are not straight. They're crooked and they're not quite straight. So to get the maximum of my feet, I have to work more to the right to get down these dang steps. And so as I was going down, my foot missed it, I think, or whatever. And the next thing you know, I'm jolted and I had hit the side of the rock and it destroyed the right side of my girdle. And this is where I learned my body can heal itself amazingly. While all the attention was focused on repairing this damage that was here, I started to develop different things on my skin because all the energy was focused on repairing that. And then when my body was done repairing, then the energy went back over and says, oh, let's get this repaired. Let's take care of this. And it's like, the body is just absolutely freaking amazing. And it knows how to repair itself. Now I can, because we create new cells every day. Old cells die every day, millions and millions of new cells. How do the new cells get the old information? And sometimes we have to disrupt the way the information gets checked. So, hello. I don't know if these people are in the room. They come in, they talk, and then they leave. So I don't know. Is Rebecca here? Is Susan here? If I have not given you a reading before, you can get a free one. And again, so, Amy usually restarts her show on TikTok and then she gets more people. But at the same time, I'm trusting spirit that we all can work together to create a movement. Now I'm going to go and look, but I think there's a April Lynn and then there's Amy, I believe. But I won't know until this opens. Okay, that's not what I wanted. I opened the wrong one. It looks just like the same icon. Okay, she says, yes, I'm here and I'm new. Yes, I'd like a reading. Okay, understand my readings are to help you to evolve. Susan, is there anything specific that you would like me to look at, or do you want me to look at what the soul wants to heal? Autumn, you keep growing. I'm so proud of you. And Rebecca says she's here too. So, okay, so same question for you, Rebecca. Okay, so now I'm double checking. While I'm double checking, I'm seeing that we do have Amy that's coming on, and then the next one is April in for the chat. So usually if you pay, you get to be expedited, but April then went to bed and Amy says that no problem, fit me in when you can. Rebecca. And once you get a reading, you can go over and watch it on YouTube, and then you can give me a like and subscribe and maybe communication. So here we go. Well, the first thing that comes up, Rebecca, is that there's something that you don't want to do, and you're like, no, 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 never again. No, 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 never again. I can't do it again. No, no, no. Now, as you said this throughout the years, and I think the biggest one that you said was around 7, and then I feel like around 25, something around 25. Whether you are not at that age yet or you're past that age, there is that I just don't like this awkward feeling. Because of the awkward feeling, okay, what I'm looking at, who am I doing all of a sudden? Because now all of a sudden 2 streams. Did I say Rebecca? Because if that was the case, I'm doing it. Susan, you need, okay, so what's happening? This is bizarre. I'm seeing these 2 energy fields competing. So then Susan says she wants to do that, but I have to understand why these 2 energy fields across it. I don't think you guys even know each other, but I'm looking at this. Is this something new? You guys have to bear with me. Is this something new in the field? Yes. Oh, goodness. Both energies have to play out something. So Susan feels awkward. So I said Susan. So if that's the case, and I'm reading Susan, Rebecca needs to also pay attention. I feel like this is something to do with her as well. So again, just focusing on the fact that we were doing Susan, correct? And Susan said, I'd like to look at the possibility to move to another home or looking to move. And even though you have this motivation, to move, so I said you get a strong motivation, yes. You don't like to encounter something. So have you had something in the past where, like, no, again, pay attention. No, I don't want to do this again. Now, I don't know exactly what you don't want to do again. All I can keep hearing is that because of this, I have an arrest development. And the arrest development is that I will actually stop myself before I achieve. I can't bring it to fruition because I can't achieve. There's something to do there. And I gave you the 2 ages where you said, don't want to do this again. And so as you start to exert your independence to do what you want to do, which is in this case, get a new place to live and all of this, as you start to do this moment again and again, you're going to be bumped up with this arrested development, because I feel like you have other people's opinions that should not come in. So by you asking, it's asking for an opinion, but you have what's called invading energies. Now, you have 2 streams of invading energies that I'm going to miss you. You shouldn't move, or that's not a good idea. Someone has a strong opinion, energetically, emotional opinion that's going to influence you because you're like, okay, fine. It's the arrested development. And I think that's what you don't want to do again, is to listen to them, to do as they say. So do you listen to people? Do you get influenced by people? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, and it stops your dreams in track. Your dreams are just like put on hold. Does that make sense? Let's see if we can get into the alignment with this, because I feel this energy comes in, intimidates you, or uses communication as a way to say to you, that triggers you to go, oh, I can't do this again. I cannot listen to them. But there's a party that's going to do it anyway. So is somebody not wanting you to move? Does somebody think that this, who has a great influence with their emotions or their talk, or that wouldn't be good for you? I feel like they don't want you to do something because it's going to mess up their world. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's important that you get this, because you just said, I'd like to move. But you have a program that's saying that you're going to stop yourself from doing what you really want. And I said, besides a program, you have somebody that's in your space. Yes, it's happened to me with flesh and spirit. I do have a teenager. Okay. Now, then putting that aside, spirit, she wants to move. Is she going to move? She can begin to move, but her relationships is that it convinces toward yourself that their truth is more important than your truth. So you value their you value them. It's important to you. They are important to you. And understanding values change your motivation. So you may have an idea, but because you value them, you'll change that idea. Now, you can still value and love them, but it's how you talk to yourself. This energy will come in and it gets inside your craw, and the next thing you know, you're communicating with that. Okay, yeah, fine. Now, to help you heal this, like, no, I've got to be able to change how relationships control how I control my life. You need to go right wrist. And this is to help you break these habits. There was something that happened at those two particular ages for you. Like I said, 7 and 25, I think I said 7.5 and 25. But right wrist, first position, soft. So you place your thumb in the first position at the crick under the thumb. And you put your pointer finger there, safe, scared, stability. And you're going to sit there and go, and notice how the feel they got inside your head. That, oh, God, I should, I can't. So feel the conversation, because you then have this conversation with yourself, towards yourself, and it sabotages you. Again, he's not the first. You've had this particular thing happen to you 2 other times, very specifically, that your body chooses to remember. And what it's doing is sabotaging you from doing it now. And if you can get into the feel of, oh, I can't move, I shouldn't move, I don't know what you're thinking. Again, listen into that, because we need to get these programs out so that you will have a better choice of saying, oh yeah, maybe I'll wait, or yes, I'll do it now, or I'm in charge here, you're not, whatever it is. You're going to get some of the strength back, because all that energy is still at 7 and 25. Okay, now Rebecca says home and health and home. Health and home. Now, Rebecca, did any of what I said about Susan make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm saying? Did any of that relate to you? Did it resonate? Did it sound true? Oh, yeah, that people's energy can come in and influence me, and I'll change my mind because they're right. Did any of that make sense, Rebecca? So I'm gonna wait a second. Okay. So while I'm waiting, I want a loyalty. So loyalty. So Autumn is here, and it's a loyalty. She's here. So with loyalty, I want you to do R2D, because you are meant to get in a space where the peace is gone, like when your mother or your grandmother and father, anybody turns around and makes you feel disturbed because their peace is disturbed. They have got to get you to do what you need to do so they'll feel at peace. So you will start to do R2D. So for Autumn, right wrist, second position, deep. And so, yes, put her name down because I gave her a reading. So that's for Autumn, R2D. So I'm assuming that's no, it doesn't make sense to you. Okay, so then if that's the case, then I have to say, Spirit, give me a different direction, because she's not understanding that doesn't resonate. And they said, okay. They're pointing to that you'll see people that are helpless. So you'll look and you'll see helplessness in a person, helplessness in an animal. So do you see the people that seem helpless? Do you seem to have people around you that isn't strong, but they're helpless? Or do you feel more love when you see somebody that needs your help? What words make sense to you, Rebecca? What words make sense to you, Rebecca? You're welcome, Autumn. While I'm waiting on that, Robin, loyalty, because you're working on relationships right now, and anything that feels like you have to do things you don't want to do, or that you have any old patterns where you become less than, or you have to shut up, or you have to take place, or you have to be, I have to get their permission first, I have to cooperate. But there's this less than feeling, right wrist, first position, soft. Still waiting on Rebecca to. You're welcome, Susan. Yes, Robin Spicer. I just gave you a spot. Hopefully, my moderator is paying attention. Loyalty. Spirit says I'm supposed to give out a few loyalty things. Who is here that's always comes in? Vicky, are you still here? Loyalty. You're welcome. Again, it's not that I read you without permission. I heard loyalty and I felt like on a soul level. So I'm just taking that surface right there. And so this is what I'm doing. Okay. No, it does not. How well do you know your life, your thoughts, your emotions? Because you're asking about something that has to do with what your soul wants you to pay attention to. So obviously, you don't see any of this, so you may not be aware of any of this. And so I can't give you any of the healings that I'm doing because you're not resonating. So then I asked Spirit, what do you want? Because you must be used to your language. Okay, your language. Let's see. Oops. It's fine. That's fine. So the language. Your language. We're going to use cards because no, you're not loyalty. I gave 2 free things to the people that come every week. I am referring to the people that follow me every week. That and you're already getting a free reading. Okay. So give the language. She said health and home. Health and home. That's 2 questions. They said in relationships, in your the health is that, and even in your home, there's a part of you says don't make assumptions, ask questions. So there's the type of thinking that you jump to conclusions. Do you jump to conclusions? Do you already know what they're going to think? Do you understand? Because what's happening here, to awaken, to understand how to participate with your life, you have to notice in the thinking process, do you already think that you already know what their answer is? And then by understanding what you think you know their answer is, that you can't hear what they're actually saying. When somebody looks at your text and they don't answer you right away, you already know why. Whether it's true or not, to you, it feels right. They're saying, just become aware that if you are doing that, because there's a thought processing that you have to pay attention to. So if you're going to begin to wake up, you need to wake up into a way that allows you to be more present, to be more in charge, to hold the pen, not control the situation, but to write your story. If you can't follow that, then I'm not the reader for you. So that's what I've got. Hi, Vicky. Loyalty, because Vicky, your loyalty each time is that there's about feeling small. You're this beautiful woman, and there's a belief system that you feel small. And the way that you look at people, read the room, there's a part of you that feels small. And as I'm looking, there's when you hear people talk, there's a part of you that resonates. Oh, and then you go into, even though it's happening to them, you can over relate and over sympathize with who, like if you're watching TV and all of a sudden your body goes, I have to feel small. So even if it's not happening to you, your body reacts to, you feel small. So in this case, they're saying that you can feel how some people will use that energy to this energy to lay claims to your territory, because as soon as you start to feel small and your energy goes in, then there's a vacuum that happens. So then the energy goes there. So your body will start to respond to other people's lives, and your body needs to know that it's theirs, not yours. You can relate, but your body does not have to have that response. Does this make sense? And they want you to notice it's about territorial issues. People may have territorial issues. You can see somebody's taken something, or they've taken a space, or they're telling this. Use your right wrist, do R1S. 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 Hi, if you're still here, Pink, Pineapple. If you're still here, then you can get a reading. Okay. Hi, Pink. And I've never given you a reading before, so hopefully you can understand what kind of reading. And did you want a reading? Did you ask the questions? Again, I don't do cards per se, but if that's your language, I can do cards because it's not over my head. All right, so there's something that you're doing, Pink. Whatever comes out. Okay, so there's, I don't predict, but here's the thing. What you do in the past, your values, your belief systems, your responses, your strategies, whatever, goes into the future. So, and then you will move into it. So you'll keep repeating something. And so Spirit is saying that you have a loved one that has, I don't know if they're alive or if they're past, but somebody on the other side says you have a loved one that's very fanatical. If you don't know what that means, then look it up. But fanatical, they're very fanatical. And when they act a certain way, you end up responding a certain way. Okay. And they're saying that I do need to probably help explain this. So emotions have chemical peptides. And when a person acts with single-minded zeal, they're extreme, they are filled with excessiveness. It's like obsessiveness. So do you have anybody around you that gets very fanatical? They're in a one-track mind, they can't stop, they're enthusiastic, maybe they're eager, very obsessed. Okay. So whether they're past or alive, they said that this behavior, can you recognize the behavior so we can go forward on this? Your mom. Okay. So this person that was very fanatical, they said you grew up with this, you had a response to this. Now, she says, now that you can recognize me, she says, I'm going to explain something. Okay, you're explaining something. And they go, yes. When somebody wanted something, there was this certain amount of duress. Okay, do you understand? A certain amount of pressure, a certain amount of duress talking. Do you understand what I mean by duress? And duress is that threat or a violent or constraint or other actions used to coerce something against your will or better judgment. Okay, good. Now, this pattern, she says, I want you to cut it out. Stop. And I said, are you saying that she does it? They go, no, that you can get to, yes, it's another form of manipulation. But it's the obsessiveness. Now, she says, the next person you choose, so I'm assuming you said your husband had passed, the next person that you choose, they said, oh, now that's they want you to stop tracting that in, that certain way of communicating, because as soon as somebody, so you're going to have to train yourself to go, wait a minute. Now, not everybody manipulates, but everybody don't know how to talk. Now, some people like extreme control and they have an outcome and that's it. But they said recently you could feel this hopelessness. It's like, I'm going to go out and let's say I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden they will do this particular behavior, this obsessiveness. They will do this particular duress because they want to keep badgering. It's like, instead of telling you one time, it is this act of doing again and 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 again until you go, fine. You know what I mean? And I said, do you want her to heal the fine? They go, no, she needs to heal the fact that she has to pay attention to how, hey, this is what I fell in love with, because this is what I know. And they go, they don't want you to do that. They don't want you to do that. Oh, thank you. Is because they said that there's a part of you that needs to heal, that they wear you down. And in the point of wearing you down, you become hopeless and helpless. You're like, they're not saying before the fact, after the fact. They're talking about it's that moment. And it's that moment. And you're going, and it's the stress, it's this insanity. Do you understand that? They want you to look at that moment. Now that you can measure it, now it's like, oh my God, it's a 10. Yes, I know exactly what it just like irritates my ears, and they want you to feel and measure that. And once you feel and measure that, they want you to hold right wrist first position soft. So it's under the thumb, right hand, right here's first. You put your thumb here, hold soft, don't push in deep, and sit there with your finger here. Safety, security, stability, and it's the heel of the palm to the forehead. Let the fingers drop so it touches on top. And you're going to sit there and you're going to feel, this is where I crack. This is where you will get that down to 0, and then you'll have the habit. And so you will be tested. And then as the habit comes back up, you're going to notice that now I can see it, and measure it again. It's not that it didn't work. It's now you're healing backwards. So you are taking your power back. And even if you're sitting there watching TV and you're like, oh, they did that to me. Oh, yeah, I remember right when I just worked out. Oh, that's because your soul's saying, we're going to bring up these layers to work on. You go back to right wrist, first position. So measure it again, and get right into it, and it gets to 0. Do you understand? They want you to retake and the more time and effort you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, the more your life force is going to return, the more you're going to start changing your inner world, the more you're going to have a better outer world, and you'll start attracting healthier people. Okay. Now he just gave a thumbs up. So that means I must have said it correctly. They're happy with what I said. You're not alone, babe. You're not alone. There's something that he would say. You're welcome. Thank you, Pink Pineapple. You can go to YouTube, Medicine Woman Solution. That's SOULTION, and you can watch your reading again. Thank you, Spirit. Yes, you can watch the reading again and again and again and again. Look at the point again. Really get into how it resonates, how you know. Learn to measure. 10 being, you want it to 0, not to, I feel better. No, you want it to 0. You don't want that thing to grow. Because the habit field will show you again. And you can change the habit by taking the emotional chemical peptides off. And you can also subscribe too and watch other old videos if you choose. Anybody else here that wants a free reading? I'm going to double check there, double check there. Looking. My watch is like, hey, you didn't achieve your goal yesterday. Hey, get up and walk. Well, I'm working right now. I can't quite get up and walk. We're going to give it a few more seconds, a few more minutes, and then we will go and get Amy. So if you're looking for a reading, and let's say, hey, I've been here before. Yeah. The charge is $5, $15, or $25. That's up to you. What type of reading you want. Adelaide, South Australia, has this beautiful light show. And I had to go this year, just had to go this year. So my husband and I finally, because we went the first night, but we looked at all the other things. By the time we were done, it was 9K walk, and I was just like, I can't even go to do this extra part. We were just I was so freaking tired. So then we went on the wrong day. They were closed. Well, everything else was open. I'm like, okay. So then he says, we're going to give it one more shot. And so we went. And it was absolutely beautiful. The light show, you go in these certain areas and you see these faces, big faces on these beautiful trees, and they're moving. And then you go around the corner and you feel like you're going to be beamed up in an alien ship, this light show. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then you go around another one, and it looked like the portal, like you were going to walk through a portal. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then they had the rainbow colors of just like, that was beautiful. Then what was it? There was a couple other, it was worth the money. It was just like, that's the type of experience. Me and my husband were at the experience stage of our marriage, where it's like we want to go out and we want to capture certain experiences together. And it was gorgeous. And we're going to go to Melbourne's one as well. And wait, is it Melbourne we're going to? Yeah. Okay, so no one else here, so we're going to go and get the link as soon as I figure out where it's located. And then go get our Miss Ames. And then we'll have somebody coming on. Well, you guys aren't going to be able to see her, but those on YouTube will. This movement is important. We have to start believing we can begin to heal ourselves. We can do many things together, by ourselves, with each other, create a different support system. Here she comes. And here is our guest.
Hi.
We're in green too.
I don't know how we did that.
Oh, and he looks like the shade of green. So how are you?
I am good. There's littles have nerves, but
Oh, he just knocked down your curtain.
oops. I think the cats did that.
Yeah, kitten
Kitten.
just. So your nerve. So she's going in to get shoulder surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like all the warnings, all the things, get prepared. And she has. I've got some, I don't know if you got pudding cups or applesauce cups, but you have like things that if you can't get up, then you can get, it's handy. You made
Yep.
prepared soup, you made prepared meals.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your drinks, you can, and you got a medication box, you know that you've got all the things, and even to the sleeping gear, so that you can be able to sleep without having a lot of pain. And that
Yep.
means like pillow prop, being in her chair. Have you figured out how to lift your recliner legs?
I have tried all kinds of different ways to do that, and it either slips off or it doesn't work.
All right. So if it is already in up position, are you able to get in it?
I can get in, but I can't get out.
Okay.
Tried that one.
Okay, that could be a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they
The
want
only
you to
other
sit
thing
up.
that I was talking about with Robin last night on my show was switching to the old chair because I think I can get out because that one's wider.
Okay, I
And
was just
I
gonna
can,
say, do you have another chair, or can
Mhm.
you rig your bed up so that you can get in and out? Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I can get in and out of my bed just fine.
Okay. So push comes to shove, you just know where you're going to be for a couple days. So how long did they say that you would need assistance if you were to have another human being? They said how
Um,
many days?
they never really said.
Okay, so but they said the first day, like making sure you get home and
Mm-hmm.
they take care of. Okay, so the healing process is going to happen immediately. As soon as you're done, body says, "Hey, what's going on? Let's start taking care of it." You already got the mindset that, yep, I'm going to heal from it because I've had
Mm-hmm.
issues in the past. Look, I made it through 100%. My body's amazing. It's going to do it again.
Yep.
So you already know that that's going to be fine. It's just going to have to. So is there any worry leading up to the pain is going to be too much, or I can't handle it, or any of that?
No, not really.
Okay. So you've got everything else prepared. And because of this, now I'm going to ask Spirit, do we need to look at anything about? And they're saying yes about some. I didn't ask the question yet. So on a soul to soul level, your body is saying to me, I have these habits. I don't really want to address these habits. And I said, are you aware of these habits? No. I kind of just wish Spirit would just not have any habits show up. Now, and I said, you mean habits that could make you lose your shit? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to be focused on it. And I said, why? Because I don't like who I am when I go there.
No,
Oh, so you're
don't.
really tapping into old patterns. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then I have to, I just want, okay, I'm going to reenact, okay? I just want my mommy. Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that'll come up, but at the same time, it's like there's this memories. There's going to be some good memories, like when it's like, it's okay, I'm here for you. Um, I feel like good memories are something you don't really want to pull in because they're going to feel like they're going to hurt. Do you understand?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So one particular thing is I see your mom coming in close and just kind of pampering you with love, and you felt
Mm-hmm.
this strong bond. You had some moments. You had some moments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you we don't remember much, but these strong moments was when you had to be your weakest. You're vulnerable. Now, I said, so why did you not want to? Why? Because it's going to be about karma and stuff like this, where I know that she invaded my energy and she manipulated me, and I
Mm-hmm.
love it, but I hate it because I don't want to be that person anymore. So again, you're in a growth stage. It's like when all of a sudden you're done playing with Barbies and horses or whatever it is, and it's like I don't want to get rid of these things, but I need that transition. I
Mm-hmm.
need to get into that next stage. And as they're telling me, they go, yes, I'm supposed to take action. But I have a moment where my brothers don't have it. I have a moment where nobody else in the world has to have it. I had this moment. Now, the reason I says, well, why don't you want to visit that moment? And they said, because what came with it was in order to have those beautiful moments, I would have to feel this invading energy. I said, okay, tell me more. And they said, part of you don't even want to look at me. They go, my mother loved me, but she also loved me with great contempt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's the great contempt that I just wish wasn't there in a relationship. Now your
Mm-hmm.
mother's coming in again, very nice and close. She's like, but, and that's like the but is the belief under transition. And she says that this is a habit that we did. This is an auto response that you don't want to be sick and vulnerable again to the point where it just be you're going to uncover an auto response. That's all I'm going to tell you. So it's like, but it'll feel very real to you. And I think it'll be when you're in your loopy loop, drug induced. I don't want any pain.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Spirit. As she's in that state, she's going to be able to do, she can't really do lift her arm and do L2D. So it'll be,
But
yeah, I knew the resolve. I'm proud of her. Right. I was thinking you got a magnet, you're going to have your thing for your head, put that on your arm. Are you going to be able to put that on yourself?
I'll be able to use my hand, yeah.
Okay. But I mean, as far as,
My left hand, yeah. My left, I can, as long as I put the bead there, I can do my left hand, and then I'll have to, if anything that's right, I'll have to do an
okay.
autumn with the magnet.
Okay. Good. Good. See, love the fact she already knows. See, she doesn't have that belief I can't heal myself. She already knows she can do herself without fear. Now, I'm looking at, oh my God. Oh my God. Now, this is other people's, other people's.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's your experience, but people will bring up, oh my God, I remember one time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had anybody bring stuff up and have horror stories? Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, what they're telling me, and my stomach's upset now, what they're telling me is that you are hearing how they couldn't self regulate. But you are like, well, hold on, I already know how to self regulate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the habit. And I'm looking at a habit of the reaction. So it was when you'd see people not be able to self-regulate, what kind of pull did that do to you?
It would pull me into their story, but it would also be like annoying.
Ah, so would you then have, so this is a scalar field. It does affecting the frequency, is that your piece disappears and you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to replace your stuff with their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go, okay, I have to place it with put my stuff aside, put their stuff in, and then I have to put on this behavior, and this is how we do relationships. So you're in a socializing age, which means that around 9 years old, you learn to socialize, and you didn't like putting yourself on the back burner,
Mm-mm. No.
but that's what you're supposed to do in a socialized thing. So what I'm seeing is that you will start to bring up how irrational thinking is, irrational fears that, yeah, you'd be afraid of it, it's not really going to harm you. The fear itself is going to harm you. But irrational thinking is, you're going to probably experience during your induced state irrational thinking.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to think, but you're just telling yourself, from what I can hear, is that I may have a hysterical episode where I'm just crying and bawling because you're going to start procrastinating.
Yeah,
Now,
I can see that.
so let's, for the sake of understanding, hopefully it doesn't screw up my screen. I'm asking Spirit, like procrastination. They said yes, you will be delaying or postponing something. Now, the surgery is so that I'm preparing for my path switch,
Mm-hmm.
but the recovery is going to end up being an excuse. And it's the recovery. So now I'm like, you're delaying and postponing. Yes, I'm going to learn more about my deficiency because I'm going to become very self-conscious. Yes, you're going to be very self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I won't know how my body's going to respond. I don't know how um so I'm looking at like um karma. I've been here before. How can I do it again without having to do the old way? They said your conscience, so self-conscience, so you become aware of how you're conscious of right and wrong, good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have to deal with whether or not the right thing for me or right thing for them. What's the right thing? So you're going to be meeting up how your mother always wanted you to do the right thing. You're going to be meeting up how people in your family says no, that you have to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you would be going against who you are because knowing that you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. Okay. So this hurdle, you're going to have to start training your triple warmer. And that means you're going to be doing a lot of R3S because you're going to start gaslighting yourself. You're going to be hearing your mother, you're going to be hearing your father or brother or whoever else but it's also to do with social skills. So you will be visiting your little self around 9 and go, oh my God, this is how you're supposed to communicate. is to gaslight to get your end results, or how people would gaslight, put their idea, their dream into you so that you have to fulfill it. And your one main trigger is when they start to, so this is the auto response we're looking for. And it has to, your tailbone will have an issue, your nerves will have an issue, and there will be always a story that's going to affect you. But the auto response is that you're just going to have to go against your own will.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do what's right according to them, because the thing is that you can't stop the temptation, because the feeling that you don't want them to go into is to have them have negative feelings.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And you don't want them to feel shy. You don't want them to feel awkward. You don't want them to feel contempt. You don't want this thing from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like a monster. So in that case, you're going to make sure you do R3S. That you already know this outcome. You already know this this end of the timeline, this assumption, because it's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really face how your 9-year-old would have to become very passive as your safety. Now, you don't want to let that go yet because it's a safety blanket. But all your energy goes to when you're 9 years old. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's an auto response, which means you're going to have to pay attention. We have some videos on YouTube, but you're going to have to pay attention when the body goes, and you're going to have to, and you won't even know you're doing it, because physically it's just going to start take over on you. And you got to catch it as it's happening. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times you've been exposed to this. So usually we start way after, and oh, I did that. Oh, I did that. But like when I was typing, and I caught the pattern. I caught the pattern that when I get into this writing, this would come in and then pull me away from it, and I'd be in the kitchen or someplace. Or I would call people in and then be bothering me, right? And it's like, no, I can feel this. So I started to pay attention to when it just like my brain went, and I'd like, oh, that's like, oh, I'm frustrated because I can't find it or do it, or I gotta be upset because I gotta do it. Oh, so that's when I started to begin to feel how all of a sudden, how annoying, how annoying, how annoying. Oh, go into that feeling. And then as I started doing that, it became less and less. And then when I did not cause it, then I made somebody else come in and cause it. And then again, how did that make me feel? It was like, ooh, irritation. Oh, okay. I don't want to show them this reaction, because I learned don't back talk. So you're not supposed to show any reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to heal how now all of a sudden how I got to have interruption after interruption. So then I had to go back to the drawing board and feel how my body was like, oh shit, I can feel it here as I'm doing this. Now I have to cause the outside to do this. So I had to heal. Again, it was very much emotional. It was a feel, it was a sensation. An auto response is something that we have programmed ourselves so deeply. Okay. When you begin to heal those auto responses, it changes the karma. It changes the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
usually for the better. Because as they cross in, they have to fulfill these certain belief systems that you carry. And they can't show up any other way than you understand reality. And so, in the only way, the way that you let them. So, to understand how you set those programs in place is to understand how you're about ready to do something and looking for those auto responses. But you have to become spiritually aware that, okay, so you have to find out, like for me, it's writing. For you got to find out what habit and how did your body begin. And then once you begin to do that, then you can start to notice how it becomes an energetic system control thing where you can't make it stop. But if you pay attention with your spirit, have the tools to do it, and learn to measure it, then you're going to grab it by the balls, and then you're going to go, okay, I'm in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Perfect.
that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I might need balls things myself. Grab them by the balls. Ah. Okay, so you got this. You got an understanding of it.
Yes.
That one's a deep one in this, but you're also going to be healing out how the imprint years, 0 through 7, and you're going to be working in the social years. I think it's 8 through 13 or whatever. So you're doing two particular auto response habits, okay? But a lot of this has to do with how, if you didn't do something according to their will, then you would see how your parents would be displayed, but you have to heal out how you know the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like when I had that surgery last summer here,
okay.
how my cousin responded.
Okay, yep. And that's going to be a lot of R1D because it's self-imposed limitations, how they respond, how they do things, and how their energy is. You would limit yourself. Makes
Mm-hmm.
perfect sense, Robin says. Okay. So you'll limit yourself without even knowing. Again, this is something that you have to work with spirit. And as you work with spirit, you will become more spiritually aware of these particular auto responses. Now, again, it's important to you. Your values are going to control how you think. And I think we're probably going to talk about this maybe in tribal tomorrow. I'm not sure. But if you can't change your mindset, you can't change the emotions, you can't change those auto responses, and you keep repeating something, now we have to begin to look at your value system or your meta programs, because they are the ones that are now on a deeper level that's showing this. Okay, Robin says, I have done this, limit myself. Yes, and these self-imposed limitations, like self-imposed, when you're not aware that these are there, these are just the habits that it happens. Do you understand? These are the habits, and these are the habits that happens to you, and what causes then you to repeat a particular pattern, a cycle. I'm teaching you how to heal, to become aware, to become awake to these. Oh shit! I mean, I need to be responsible for this. The auto response habits. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can do this. And this skill is going to be very helpful, because like if you go out in public, again, a social action, and you're like, why am I acting this way? Well, it's all about, this is the skills that you learned to work with people, communicate with people. I had the only thing that really affected me when I went out, which I have to look at, because I watched my body's responding right now, and it's like, okay, you don't need to respond that way. But okay, so when we went into Adelaide, the first 2 times, it was quiet. It was a lot of people, but not a lot of people. Because this is the second to the last day that this will be over, you're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of people trying to do this event all at once. And the sidewalks are really beautifully wide. You don't have to worry about falling off, when two people are walking together. Holy moly. I had this energy for 3 days in a row, and it was happening to my husband too. And I thought, isn't this causing my husband to have this? And I think so. But it was, it's not your normal. You have to begin to see it. So I'm driving on the road, and somebody will cut me off immediately, or somebody will pull out immediately. Or as you're backing up, somebody's got to back at the same time as you, and you're like, okay. People, if I'm not in a car, then it's people. Like all of a sudden I'll be walking along, nobody's there, and the next thing you know, a kid will come up and smack me right, and I'm like, I'm about ready to fall over them. I'm trying to hang on to my stuff at the same time. Are you okay, kid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, So it was like then people all of a sudden slam into you with their big backpacks and stuff, and they're not aware that they're
They're
stumbling.
not present and they're not aware of what they're
Right.
doing.
But I was doing this all the time. And so it's like, okay, I'm aware of this. Okay, I'm aware of this. Now I started to go a little letting it get to me. So as we're walking, he's ahead of me, he's holding my hand, no problem. But I'm a good weaver. I can weave in and out and walk, and I can kick it down and say, okay, kick it up, meaning we got to pass these people because I'm not that slow of a walker. And then, but all of a sudden, it was like 200 or more people were coming across this big, okay, now the crosswalk says go. All of a sudden, it was not just, it was, and I'm like, and then I got stuck. I'm here, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
usually take the outskirts. Well, to get to where we were, and there was a spot, I moved up into it. And because I'm like, can't believe there's an opening. So, and the next thing you know, I got caught in this. And the overwhelm was so massive. It was like a tornado had hit me.
Oh, wow.
And my husband and I didn't hold hands. And it's not that I need him as a safety blanket. It was just like, and then I had people, especially kids, running into me. And then it's like, okay, you're in the middle of the street, lights about ready to change. The kids, Ma, like, help that kid up. And where's your mom? Ma, oh, get out of here. And you're like, trying to get across the street. This happened to, several times. I'm like, okay, what am I missing?
Mm-hmm.
And my aura was pulled in. So I had to do the tribal basics. And then the biggest one was the hookup. I had to literally see if my central and governing were going to stay hooked. And as soon as I finally got, okay, it's going to stay up, yeah, then I didn't have any problems. But wow, it took me back to when I was a kid, and I would just be, you got 5 or 6 people in the family, depending if mom and dad are there, whatever, and you were just like, I think I was lost in one of those parks before because they turned and I couldn't see them and they couldn't see me. So at one point it was so dark, but we're having the light show. He walked forward with the crowd and I couldn't walk forward because the people that had slipped in front of me didn't move. I had no idea that he wasn't there. And I'm like, oh, where'd he go?
Oh, wow.
And so I had to figure out, and it's like, I didn't panic, but I could feel my body going, well, he panicked. No, he's not a panicker. But at the same time, I could feel all these kids around me. And we're on a bridge that they got railing, but you never know. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because kids are small, can slip through, whatever. The whole point is that it's not all my energy. And I don't have to believe everything that's fearful. And you have to get your energies back in alignment.
Yeah. Just before I came on with you, Mama D
Okay.
texted me. Good luck
Okay.
tomorrow. She messes up dates, but anyway, um, it's like she wants to help.
Okay. Their kindness, yes.
And it's like, if I need you, I will reach out.
Yeah, she wants to be kind. But she's in that state of worry and fear because she's been there before, and you don't want her in your space. I take it
Not necessarily, no.
because there's a part of you on a knowing level that you've got this.
Uh-huh, yeah. On a knowing level, I know I got this. I know that, I'm going to be limited with my right arm for a couple of weeks, and then it
Now
will.
let's stop for a second. The old Amy, because now when you age, it's just leveling up. The old Amy, meaning the past yous, how
Mm-hmm.
would you have talking to MD with about, oh, I have to have this issue, or I have this issue and I need you?
It would be totally different. I mean, I wouldn't be, I would be like unstable.
Okay, here's the thing. She does not know the new version of you. So
Mm-mm.
what version of you does she remember?
The one that would freak the fuck out.
Right. So she's only got that version of you in her head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said, what do you do about this? And they said, well, you can predict. They said, like, if you, okay, so I'm looking and they're pointing to regret. Did she ever regret not being there for you at some point? Did you make ever feel to regret that she wasn't there for you at some point?
No, but I think there's regret with her and her kids because her
Right. So now you're in that position of being her kids. Okay. So what you do is that you have to hold L2D because it's in that relationship field of regret. Okay. If you can predict how do you understand? Like,
Mhm.
oh, because right now you're getting into that position, the pressure, it's going to have be contempt, or it's going to be like, I can't. That's going to be, see, your mom totally effing agrees. So now you have to look at how did your mother ever feel like, oh, regret I wasn't there for her? Or did you ever make anybody feel bad for not being there for you?
I wonder if, like, during when I was having chemo.
Oh, I'm looking at age 21.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Did you? Oh, mm. So who'd you lay that on?
I think I probably really laid it on my mom.
Okay. So you're going to have to do R1D because you really did this because it has to do with self-imposed limitations. I was there for you, or you made me expect this of you and you failed me. Again,
Mhm.
this is going to be a very upset person. You're little. And that, oh, you were always taught that if you're not there for them or send a thank you card, you have to live in regret. There's something to do with overcompensating because I feel bad. Why aren't you feeling bad and overcompensating? I
Mhm.
feel like she's done it to everybody else, but she didn't do it to you.
Yeah.
I just saw you look at a memory. But yes, you will be doing with that because I just saw the memory is R1S because it's connected to what they would say and do to keep you around the homestead,
Okay.
how they would act and be to keep you around and keep doing what they want. And there's a party that's like, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
there's a specific memory that keeps popping up.
Now, as you pull that up, it definitely is an R1S because that is strong. Okay, that's what you would be doing. Now, we're kind of running out of time now, but you know exactly where you go. And I may just leave you with that and just say, thank you, Spirit. Take care of Amy, and we'll see you tomorrow in Tribal. And I know you
Yep.
got this. Again, if I lived close, I would have helped you. But
Hmm.
I'm holding space. I know that Spirit's got you. I know that you've done it 100% lots of times
Oh,
before.
absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
and if anything ever push comes to shove, somebody will be at your door.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I love you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Love you too.
All right. Bye, hon.
Bye.
Okay. Well, there's nobody else here. If you're here and you want to looking for a reading, here's your chance for a free one. Hi, Amber. How you doing? I don't know if you're still here. We are doing awesome today. It's good to see you. And, Amber, if you're here, you're very loyal to yourself and you have come back time and time again. I feel like your physical body doesn't understand that it needs to ground and it's looking for a particular way to feel connected to being grounded. So, Amber, if you're here, then you can have R2S. Okay. So, if you ever felt like you're not grounded physically, that's what that is, loyalty. All right. I think we're good. Um, so I'm going to have a great birthday. And I already know that. No matter even if it physically turns bad, I'm still having a great birthday. I love the number 23. See right there it is. I love the number 23. I love this. 222324. Um, oh, we got 21, 22, 23, 24, and now 25. Did you see that? Ooh, that meant something to somebody. It felt good, whatever it was. And now I need to do April Lynn's reading. Okay, ready? Nobody else. I'm just checking. All right, Miss April Lynn. I don't need that open. I don't think that affected the thing at all. Well, that's good. So because she's loyal, I'm going to give her, a little bit extra. What I'm seeing is wounded pride. Wounded pride. When I ask about what this wounded pride is, it has something to do with the hammer hurt. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So there is a mark, left, right, both. They're saying that this is we're looking at a very strong conditioning. Your condition. That means if something alarm goes off, you're supposed to act this way. If you smell something, you're supposed to salivate. So we're looking at a very strong conditioning that no longer serves. Okay, let's get back to this. So the body, and it's not per se the brain, but it is marked that you have to let it play out. You have to let it play out. And they're telling me around 8 years old, you have to let it play out. That means put up with, put up with, put up with, put up with, and then it'll finally come to the end. I said, is this how you learn? That you learn to be conditioned, that you have to keep putting up with, you have to keep putting up with. And because you have to keep putting up with, it makes you procrastinate doing what you want. So R2S, right wrist, second position, soft. Okay, go further. Somebody's trying to. You have an incoming message. I don't know what this is. Oh, I think that's just, it just, I think that is a delayed reaction. So there's a delayed reaction to all of this. So you have, so again, a delayed reaction. So Miss April, we have to look at this. So you have this conditioning that keeps going on and on. I have to let it play out. They really want me to focus on that because this is actually an auto response. I said, like one of them is that I'm in arrested development. So I don't know how to go beyond this. And it has to do a lot with procrastination. It sounds like we're still doing Amy here, but you must be both working on this particular level. So maybe it's the group thing. So as soon as somebody starts to grunt, gestures, is it gestures first? Gestures and tone, physical energy puts you in this state of, I have to let it play out. And then you have to put your stuff on the back burner because it's the right thing to do. And I feel all of a sudden really dizzy. It's so, you're so used to it that you don't realize that it is part of the dark night of the soul. Now, this has to do with maybe a partner, somebody that's in your space, somebody that you have ideas and they don't have the same ideas. And you then begin to do old conditioning of taking your ideas and making it wishy-washy because it's going to interfere with, okay, now I see it. How to explain it? So somebody has a plan. You got a plan for their life. Yes, they got this plan. This is happening. And they put so much effort over here, they want to see an end result. And then when another person comes in the space, they still want the outcome to be the same, but it can't because that means that you'll have to stifle who you are in order for them to get their results. And there's a party that's like growing impatient because, like, when is it going to be my turn? And yet you don't want to rock the boat. And yet you can feel something that you're meant to be doing, but you also feel like you got to keep stifling it because somebody else is in charge. So the outside, your sensory systems keep checking, and then it looks and says, I can't. And then it goes into a conditioning. So are you ready to address this? Are you working on deficiency? Then you're going to start noticing that this pattern is devoted to the thing that you know that you have to stay deficient to have a happy life. Wow. Okay. You really learn this in the social period, which was between 8 and 13, and they're saying about 9 years old, you really felt deficient because you were exerting who you were, but on a social level, you had to put yourself on the back burner and become deficient so they could achieve. And it made, I feel like there was some point where you had, I don't know if it was 9 or 10 or whatever, but you felt, if I stop, then they can get this achievement. If I make myself deficient, then they can feel good. Do you see there's a pattern here that I need to put myself on weight. I can't expand the importance of myself because I value people. I value them. And I think it's important that this is it. Do you understand? It comes to pass. Now, you will hear somebody have a greater story than you. Okay. You'll hear somebody have a greater story than you. And this is when the social skills of, wait, what? So there's no measurement, no parameters. It is now, this is when something that you love and you're doing to help somebody else becomes a little wonky because now it applies to everybody. So this habit of allowing somebody to feel better, to keep them safe, causes you to become very much putting yourself on the back burner. You did it out of love, but then there is this love. So now they're telling me that because you do this particular habit, they said that's R1S, right? With first position soft. It has to do with the way people speak to you, that you will end up, well, okay, I'll do this. But I also feel that we need to heal out joy. That sounds stupid, but let's just listen. So I go out and I have to have dessert because that's joy. I mean, you're coming from a poor family, you never spent money on food and desserts and things like this. And then when you go out to do it, it's fun, it's joyful. And you want to go out and do it again. It's like when you shop, it's like, oh, so the joy, but it was actually a safety mechanism of to help you process something you couldn't process. Now, let's say you process it, that's fine, but now you've got this habit. So it'll be a good idea. You'll go out in the public and it'll be a good idea. And this good idea then says, oh, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to get this. Oh, yes. And then there's a joy in this being persuaded. And it's the impulse part of your brain that's in the frontal lobe that says, oh, yes, this is a good idea. It's the impulse control. Do you understand? But it's the joy. But this is now causing havoc because do you really need to? No. Are you addicted to doing this? Yes. Your intuition with your ego says yes. But it all stems from when you were 9. And the etheric body, the energy body, feels around, feels safe. I'm going to get my turn, my joy, my thing, my thing. The problem with that is that it takes you away from being present. It takes you away from really investing in other things you want to do. And this is the scale of when something is either too negative. Well, in this case, it's too positive. This normal, but it feels good. I want this. But it is actually causing you something like clutter or less money or, oh, I'm gaining weight. There's a kickback to this particular joy. When we are in a state of love and joy and we're doing these things, there's not a kickback, there's not a consequence. But when joy, happiness has a kickback, that has this consequence, and it's a negative one, you are out of harmony with yourself. So when you're about ready to go, oh, yeah, I think it's a good idea, I'm going to do this, and you feel very moved, you're then using love as a weapon on yourself. Tribal healers, if you're listening, now you'll get it. So again, I can go out and I can self-sabotage because it has a kickback, meaning I gain weight or I'm going to become sick when I want it. So like I'll have sugar. Oh yeah, why not? Why not? Oh, this sounds like a great idea. Oh, it's just one time. Ah. So if I sat down and I healed the joy, and for me, it becomes that it's a territorial thing. Because I get to do this, I get to reclaim my territory. And when you reclaim it, but you don't realize you're not reclaiming it from, like if somebody told you you can't do that, you can't have that, then it's crossing the territory. Now you have the money and you can do it and you can have that and you can do this. But the impulse of the joy, it's too, because there's a negative. That's why I got the joy. Then it means they're going to have a kickback and the karma is going to be out. So I have to heal how I use love as a weapon in the way that it creates a self-sabotage and it creates, because my goal is to be healthy. But why am I doing this? Because I had this idea and it felt right. It's intuition, right? And if you have a measuring tool, so in your measuring tool is like, okay, if I feel this way, then it must be correct. But the problem is, if it's connected to an unresolved issue, then it becomes a kickback from it with a karma issue. You have to now realize you have to grow from there. So when you go out, you actually can make healthier choices without realizing it. Okay? This is a deep one. It's not a twisted revenge thing. This is a, oh my God, I can't have this. I can't do this. I got control. And now I'm on my own. Oh, I'm going to get these things and the joy is great. But then it becomes, the fact is that I'm running away from and I'm running towards, but when I get it, I have to pay for it in a negative way instead of just, so the body is keeping score. So to sit there. And again, a lot of it has to do with the way the karma energy flows in relationships. And it's usually R1S, not always, but R1S and gallbladder, which is L2S. Because it's connected to another one that has to do with I must live their way to have life. And as you're doing the joyful thing and you're running away from two things, this energy pull is going to create havoc on the physical form. Hopefully that made sense. And that is for you, my friend, my loyal friend, Miss April Lynn, and I love you very much. So this is a deep one, and yet I know you get it because it's not that hard of a concept once you start to open up and listen and be in talk with your spirit. Your spirit will guide you and teach you how to do things. All right, it has been a grand day, and if there's anybody else here, this is your last chance. Ah. So Amber, I don't know if you're still here. Did you get that I gave you a healing tool once? Let's see. I love you too, sweetheart. Okay. If there's anybody else here, just double checking. Love that Robin is getting this. She's like, oh, this is good. Yes. Pass on this information. Okay. Just gonna double check through everything again. We're good. And for those that have paid, thank you so much for the energy exchange. And those that received because of the loyalty, thank you so much for that energy exchange of coming in and sharing and liking and subscribing and all of these things. This is an energy exchange of love. I appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Hashtag resolve to evolve. Hashtag when in doubt, heal it out. Hashtag don't waste it, paste it. Hashtag heal instead of deal. Hashtag I don't have to believe my own BS. Remember, this is a soul's journey. So we're personally choosing growth. And how much I participate is how much I'm going to get out of it. Hashtag thank you, spirit. And for those, we'll see you in tribal tomorrow. All right, let me sign off. So you're already blessed in your whole. So stay blessed and happy healing.